Hello, and happy Straturday, friends. Psyberry here with another Darkest Dungeon How to Use guide. Before I get started today, thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this guide with a friend. We are currently on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and we're well on the way, well over 420 currently. Anyway, enough of that. Alright, let's just get down to it. Today we're going to take a deep dive into how to play the Anointed. The Anointed was released January 30th of 2021. It was last updated May 7th of 2021. The canon name of the Anointed is Axel. Let's breeze through the credits real quick here. Falco was responsible for the sprite art and the comic, and Kenthril did animations and some art touch-ups. Shay did the sound design, and this part is a little unclear, but between retrograded and batted, all the rest was done, except from other people helping in beta testing. It's a little unclear what they did, because retrograde didn't thank himself, but anyway, that's really all the notes I have on the team behind it. So let's just go right into the class stats. The Anointed starts with 24 HP at first resolve, and this progresses to 40 HP at final resolve. This starts out what I would consider in the average range, but it progresses a little slower than people who typically start out at 24 HP would. For instance, the Vestal starts at 24 HP, but progresses 5 HP per level to 44. The Anointed will have a little less HP than that at high level, so he's only progressing 4 HP every time he ranks up. But otherwise, not a lot to be concerned with. He has ways to heal himself, so it's not really a huge deal. Dodge is going to start out at a 10 and progress to a 30 at max resolve. This is the above average range that you see with a Grave Robber, Hellion, Highwayman, and it should suit him rather well. Prot is not surprising at 0. The speed stat is going to start at a 6 and progress to a 7 at third resolve and an 8 at final resolve. This is what I would consider good speed. It's on the verge of being great. It's the same speed as the Occultist, for instance. The accuracy mod is a 0, as you would expect with a lot of these classes. Not going to have any plus or minus there. The crit starts off at 1%, and it will move up to a 5% at max resolve. And this is the low end. It's equivalent to a Leper or an Antiquarian as far as crit fishing goes. So it's a notable weak point. He's not going to crit a ton, but some of his moves might help considerably in this regard. Damage at opening resolve is going to start at 6 to 8, and at final resolve it will progress to 10 to 14 damage. This is kind of the easiest way I can look at this is it's like a hybrid damage situation. He's got the max damage of an Arbalist and the minimum damage of something like Hellion, for instance. So he's reliable in the fact that he will not be doing 4 damage at level 1. He won't roll a 4 like an Arbalist might. But he's also not gonna maximum damage like a Hellion would. So this kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like a reined-in best of both worlds. I will consider this an above average damage stat, just because it's reliable. So let's real quick just dive into the combat stats in general. Not all of these are unlocked on this one, so I will look at this one for instance. The first ability is Sacred Blade. It is usable from rank 1 or 2, and can target rank 1 or 2 enemies. This is a melee attack with an accuracy base of 95, a crit modifier of plus 4%, and does full damage. Additionally, this will heal 4 additional HP to himself while he is marked. Otherwise, this will heal himself 3 HP when he hits, I assume. Most attacks similar to this are triggered on attack hit, but it could surprise me. I could get a miss in the dungeon area and it might still heal me. But this is a good way to get some damage out and self-heal as well. The second ability is Zealous Ire. It is usable from rank 1 or 2 and can target rank 1, 2, or 3 enemies. This is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 95, a crit modifier of 7%. This does full damage. This also has full armor piercing and will do an additional 66% damage while marked. This will debuff himself 15% damage received while marked after he uses this. So this is a good way to capitalize on self-marks, which he has some of in his other abilities. And also, if you are going against enemies that like to mark, this is just it's just a quicker way to get to using something like this. This is what I would consider the best offensive move, but if you need to think defensively while still hitting someone, keep Sacred Blade handy as well. The third ability is Admonish. This is usable from any rank, and it will target every rank of the enemy team. This is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 100, a damage modifier of negative 95%, and it doesn't have a crit modifier. This breaks guard on all these targets and will debuff them minus 5 speed with 120 base, which is the normal base at this level, and a minus 6% crit, which is also the normal base activation rate. So this is a good way to kind of lower the crits the enemies are going to give out, also lower the speed. This has a lot of synergy with stun moves, for instance. If you want to stun people and you want them to stay stunned for longer, maybe you've got a Choir Hunter or a Powder Keg with Visceral Attack just waiting in the wings to take advantage of this. It can have these applications in those kind of scenarios. The fourth ability is Condemn. It is usable from rank 1, 2, 3, or 4, and can target rank 1, 2, 3, or 4 enemies. It's a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 100, a damage modifier of negative 100%, and does not have a crit modifier. This bypasses stealth, will pull the target 3 ranks forward with 120% base, which is the normal, and it will de-stealth that target. This will debuff the target minus 80% healing received with a immense base, and this will also buff himself by marking himself as a target for 1 round. This is not a bad way to do a couple things. Like if you're worried about enemies who come in stealth, maybe you're in a veteran or higher level dungeon, and you're worried about those stealth enemies, you can target them with this, pull them into the front, stop them from being healed, and mark yourself for later synergy, all in one. So if you're worried about that kind of thing, equipping this could help a ton. I generally don't put it on because it doesn't do damage, but there's a lot of synergy play to be had here. The fifth ability is Renew. It is usable from any rank, and he will target all his allies and heal them 4 HP at this level. I believe it starts at maybe 3 or 2. 3 HP cannot be critically healed, is what it says at early level. So yeah, this is a very good healing all your allies kind of group heal thing, but it's notably different than that the Vestal has, for comparison's sake, because he will not heal himself. So this is a good way to worry about your allies, but it is not exactly utility enough. It's just a hair short of utility enough for me to equip very often. But it is a good way to get multiple heals out if you have a couple of hurt allies. The sixth ability is Holy Obligation. It will buff target, 15% prot and plus 12 accuracy, and it will buff himself for 15% prot. It will mark the Anointed as a target for 3 rounds, and it makes you guaranteed to move first next round. So this is a very good self-mark if that is what you're after. If you were looking for the synergy with Zealous Ire, Holy Obligation is a great way to do that. And you can also buff an ally with this one you expect to take hits, as well as you do. And the 7th ability is Safeguard. It is usable from any rank, and you will select an ally, you will guard that ally. That ally will heal for 3 HP at this level, and you yourself, the Anointed, will heal for 5 HP. So this is a good way to set up a guard. Now, I don't technically use a lot of guard when I play with the Anointed, but he's very good for it. What I look for in a guard typically is damage, reflection, or riposte. That kind of synergy with a guard is really, really powerful. He's good at protecting people, and he's got a lot of self-heal options that are synergistic with his kit. So he's not a bad guardian. I look at this as more of a in a pinch move than a primary tactic. So if you've got an ally who is pretty messed up, you can guard them with this, heal them with this, and set yourself up to be as close to max HP for that turn or two of incoming attacks that you're sure to be targeted with. So let's real quick go through the camping skills that the Anointed has at their disposal. Generic Encourage, Wound Care, and Pep Talk is on his list, as you would expect at this point. And the first unique camping skill is Restore. Restore is a time cost 2 camping skill. You select a companion, you will remove mortality debuffs for that companion, and they will receive plus 20% healing for the next 4 battles. So this is a good way to kind of turn around someone else's bad luck mid-dungeon. So it's very helpful in that way. The second unique camping skill is Hallowed Prophecy. It is a time cost 2 camping skill. You will select a companion, and if they are religious, they will heal 33 stress. This is a pretty impressive stress heal for just a time cost 2 ability. It does hinge on them being religious, which is not it's not the biggest roster of folks available in the game that are, but there's still a lot of really powerful allies you can affect with this. You know, you can heal a leper or a crusader or a vestal with this, and they are going to give you a lot of bang for your buck as far as utility in the dungeon. The third unique camping skill is Edifying Sermon. It is a time cost 4 camping skill. You target yourself, and you will receive 15% virtue chance for the next 4 battles, and all your companions will heal 15 stress. So this is a really interesting skill, and it's very good for obviously stress healing your allies, but in this case I think more beneficial the 15% virtue chance for 4 battles. If you are on the cusp of having that affliction test pop up, this is really helpful, and he's got some trinkets that also add to his virtue chance. You can kind of balance the scales in your favor in this situation, and a well-timed camp using Edifying Sermon can do wonders for your run. And his fourth camping skill is Duty of the Divine. It is a time cost 2 camping skill, and you target yourself. You will receive a plus 25% virtue chance for the next 4 battles, and an additional 10% death blow resistance for 4 battles. The death blow resistance is 70 on this character. It is not the normal 67, so it's a little higher, but it's also a odd number to get exactly to 87%, which is the maximum. He's just 17 short. Now, however, selecting Duty of the Divine is going to give you a lot of headway in that regard. That makes up over half the gap you have between his normal level and the maximum death blow resistance allowed. So let's quickly go over the crit effect for the Anointed. When he crits, he will receive, for a matter of turns, bonus damage and bonus to healing himself while he is marked. He very much likes to be marked, and there's a couple of synergistic factors that affect that benefit from it, and his crit effect is one of them. But it's nice to be getting that self-sustain heal off of Mark as well, because you don't have to rely as much on Sacred Blade in that case. Because believe me, the more turns you are marked and using Zealous Ire, the more you're going to benefit with this kind of class. So as far as party compositions go, there's not a lot you have to keep in mind as a guarantee with the Anointed, but I would definitely put him with a lot of classes that benefit from having a guarding ally. He's very good at that, and he's very good at healing allies as well, if that is a concern of yours. But he's not the best at healing them and himself at the same time. That he has to either set up a guard to do, or do it a turn at a time through other means. But overall, it's got a lot of utility, and pretty much as long as you have a stress healer in your party, you're probably fine, and you're covered with a lot of situations. And I would technically count the Anointed as a very good backup healer, but you could, if trinketed and kitted out in a certain way, put the right skills on him, he could be a primary healer as well, if you want to go that way. Real quick before we get to his trinkets, what quirks would I lock on Anointed? You can see here that I've locked Luminous on this one. I feel like if he's a frontline fighter and he's already got a good dodge as it is, and he's going to be guarding people, the less actual damage he takes, the better. So Luminous is great. Corvid's Grace, if you can get it to drop from the Shrieker, or even Evasive, is highly useful. Things like Hard Skinned is also an option. I prefer not taking damage at all if I can get away with it, but Hard Skinned is that's a good enough buff that I wouldn't say no to it. Otherwise, if you are going out more often than not with either ranged or melee as your main attack style, lean in that way. You know, get Unerring or God, what's the other one? I'm blanking on the melee version. But get one of those in that case. But otherwise, I kind of use both. So really the only thing I can limit by is whether I'm going out in light, and I would choose Warrior of Light in that case. So real quick, let me scroll up to his trinkets. There they are. First trinket we're going to go over is the Fractured Feather. It's going to give +3 speed if your HP is above 50%. It will heal you an additional 2 HP when you heal if your HP is above 50%. You will get 25% more stress if HP is above 50%. And you will receive -50 dodge at Death's Door. So this is going to keep you in really good spirits if you are at high health. Now the cost here is once you start getting into low health and even at Death's Door, you're going to get the debuff end of the stick. Plus 25% stress if your HP is below 50 is not the worst thing, but once you get to Death's Door, you're going to kind of wish you don't have this trinket on. Because -50 dodge is going to guarantee, unless you're in weird situations, that you are going to have 0 dodge at the worst time to have 0 dodge. The very rare trinket right here is the Oath of Vengeance. It's going to give you an additional 15% damage, plus 7% crit. It's going to give you 5% additional crit if HP below 75%, another additional 5% crit if HP below 50%, and in exchange, you will take 3 less HP healed, and minus 40% stress heal received from hero skills. So healing from other means, healing from getting crits, healing from other means other than hero skills would still be pretty effective with this kit. However, if you really want to crit fish, there's almost no reason not to take this. If you want to make up for his naturally low crit, this is a good trinket to put on. The rare trinket here is the Oath of Judgment. It's going to give 5 accuracy for ranged skills, a bonus 20% move skill chance, and 20% debuff skill chance, in exchange for minus 8 to your dodge stat. So this is not all that costly when you consider that he's in the above average category for dodges. But if you are using him to guard, you may want a trinket to build that back up if you're going to have to use this. The uncommon trinket is the Cherished Prayer Book. It's going to give +1 additional HP healed. Your crits received on this character is going to go down by 10%. In exchange, you are going to have 10% less debuff skills and 10% less effective move skills. So this is kind of a good way to keep him alive and healthy. If you were worried about crits, this is a very good way to really nerf the chance that you're going to get critted while you're sitting there marked. And it's going to allow you a little more maneuverability to getting healed back up to full health in between. This other uncommon trinket here is the Doctrine of the Light. It is going to give you a +20% move resistance and +15% prot while you are marked. Again, he likes to be marked, so this is kind of a win-win scenario for you. There's not really a negative here. The negative is kind of built into that second positive, to be fair, because marking leaves you vulnerable to being infinite-critted by spiders and the like. But as a protector, kind of comes with the territory. And the common trinket here that we have is the Worn Holy Symbol. It's going to give you 15% virtue chance in exchange for 10% less bleed resistance. So this is one of his ways to increase virtue chance, which is kind of a unique way to stack the deck for the Anointed. So when he has those affliction checks maybe halfway through a dungeon, you've got a decent chance of that going your way, rather than a 50-50 or even 75% proposition being negative. The last trinket we're going to go over is the one that is... I should probably fill in these moves before I go too much farther. I don't want to forget when I go into the dungeon. But the last one we're going to go over is the Oath of Altruism. This is going to give you +3 additional HP healed and 15% virtue chance. In exchange, you're going to have -12% to your crit chance and -5 accuracy with your ranged skills. I don't mind this at all. I'm not too concerned with the accuracy of Zealous Ire. I think the default here is actually pretty good. So I'm not concerned about it. And in addition, getting that virtue chance is a huge benefit, and the HP additional healing is a boon to a class like this. So real quick, I'm gonna try and run into this Cove quest and show you a few battles, highlights here.
The flopping fish-like things abhor the warding sigils. Let us claim this place anew.
Put me at the edge of the dungeon. How come they can't do this for me more often? That's fun. That was not fun.
Watch your step.
We don't want these negatives, like, at all. Let's heal you while we're at it. Battle? Yeah. Yeah, you knew you wanted the battle. Alright. Technically, I don't need to guard anyone in this party. But it can't hurt. First of all, we're going to buff the Crusader, who's probably going to take a lot of hits too, and mark myself. That mark should set me up for the next couple rounds, and this battle should be pretty quick once I get to Zealous Ire. Let's see if I can end you. That crit was well timed. Alright, we are going to stun you. Since it was a crit, that means all of them are within reach of Zealous Ire, so I'm not concerned with what I choose on the Grave Robber's turn anymore. But with this party specifically, the only one who really can KO in the back rank is the Grave Robber. So I'm actually going to lunge on her next turn without worrying about it. 21 base damage from I mean technically a level 2, but his skills are all level 3, is pretty potent. So while marked, he becomes really, really good at attacking in these situations.
Decimated.
We're going to hit you with that. Don't really need the self-heal, but can't hurt. We're gonna stress heal you. And I think the bird is gonna kill him on his turn. Get him, birdie! And a self-heal kill.
Surges as the enemy crumbles. This expedition at least promises success.
Alright, we got a couple of skills on. We are going to... We've gotten the mark stuff all looked at. Let's bring Condemn just in case.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Hey! We're not coming back here, so I'm getting these on the way. I don't really need the gold, to be fair.
The light, the promise of safety.
There we go, battle number 2. Alright, we're gonna back up again. We are worried about the guy in the back specifically. So let's see if we can pull him forward, where everyone can get at him. That was a good pull, and he's forced to use his melee attack. Let's stun the only guy with a turn left. Otherwise I would have stunned him, but we're gonna try and kill him.
Annihilated.
Honestly, that pull was underrated. Like, it accomplished a lot for me. Otherwise he would have, like, smacked somebody with a big stress gain, and that didn't happen, so...
Press this advantage.
That's a big boon.
No
I don't really need a lot of healing, but I'm going to, if his turn comes up, do the party heal anyway, just to show it to you guys. It's pretty effective. We're just gonna buy time. Why not? Birdo? Birdo. There you go, all allies. Whew. So that answered the one question I have, is that only at low level can his healing ally move, not crit heal allies. So he can definitely crit heal now. That's pretty potent. We're gonna hit you with that. Time to KO. That corpse there. That's what you get, corpse.
Destroyed.
Low-level grave robber play, man. Nothing's
Seize
better.
This momentum.
Fine, we'll bring
Push
the
on to
damn
the task's
gold.
end.
Alright. Battle number 3, prep. I guess we can switch these out. Bring Admonish back and Zealous Ire just for extra reach. Being able to reach 3rd rank is gonna help a ton. Let's see what I tell you. Alright. Let's go back. Get ready for the lunge. So we won't need Thrown Dagger necessarily. Look at you. I think you were the faster one, right? Yeah. Okay, so Admonish. Did both the debuffs stick? It looks like they did. Yes, sir. The one with the turn. Or maybe not. Goodbye.
Their formation is broken. Maintain.
Alright, let's I don't need a heal, so let's just go with Zealous Ire without the mark, doing about 10. I think the 10 was about an average roll. That 21 before, I think, was a pretty high roll, if I'm not mistaken, on the marked damage output.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzy
So basically,
fall.
if Zealous Ire is your bread and butter, the best way I can recommend to run him is with Holy Obligation or Condemn, but I would definitely lean toward Holy Obligation. And just use that combo as much as you can. We're going to go into Battle 4, and I'm just going to kind of just do that. See how effective it is by itself. Oh no, I'm going to run out of
As the
light.
light gains purchase, spirits are lifted.
No surprise,
and
okay.
purpose is made clear.
You. Because you're getting the benefit of 2 people getting plus 15% broad for the next 3 turns, you know? And you're also marking yourself for the entirety of what should be the battle.
Confusion.
Plus guaranteeing you go first next round. Pretty dope, not gonna lie. Alright, so... I am going to need to use Dagger Throw from the back rank, but you can take him out. Oh no, the dodge! There comes that -5 ranged attack to thwart me.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Don't do it! Thank you for listening. You have not taken a turn yet. Do you get stunned? Yes,
The way
you
is
do.
lit. The path is clear.
Nice to
We
see.
require only the strength to follow it.
Okay, oh! Now, I don't need to use a lot of damage on the slug here. But I've got armor piercing on Zealous Ire, right? Yeah, so I'm just gonna hit the slug and do 19 damage. You know, no biggie. 19 damage to the slug. Feels good. But that is all that I have for you guys today. I highly urge you to check out the Anointed. I have a lot of fun with him, and he's a very good protective unit that worries about his friends. And even his comic reflects that. And I would definitely urge you to check that out while you're at the Steam page. The link of that is in the description. Anyway, thanks for watching. We're going to have another Let's Play coming on Wednesday, and then next Saturday again we should have another Straturday video, another guide. And I can't decide, like, I'm trying to get this backlog of older characters done, but also I'm nearing being ready to do a guide on the Choir Hunter, so feel free, if you're in the comments, to lead me to getting more in the backlog and leaving the Choir Hunter for a little later, or just jumping straight to it, which I'm excited to get to. But anyway, that's all the time I have for today. Thanks for watching. Stay frosty.